Drew from the Resilient Jenkins has been held in contempt of court, and he was finally served by Arlita. And y'all want to know why? Because this man has been lying to the caseworker for child support, saying that he has a job. And so when he said that he had a job and they noticed that he was not paying anything, they're like, okay, so you said you have a job, but you're not paying anything. Mind you, Arlita gave Drew the choice of paying her literally $100. $100. That's the bare fucking minimum to take care of a child that you chose not to be in their life. She gave you a choice to give her $100 and to buy diapers and wipes, and that's all she was asking from you. And you couldn't even do that. And with the help of TikTok, y'all were finding out where they were, and that helped Arlita get him served.
My baby is probably going to get what he deserves. Like I said, and it's crazy to me because people are saying like, oh, Arlita, you shouldn't even be speaking on this. You shouldn't even have nothing to say. You have your kid. I find that weird. I find that weird that people are trying to tell me that I shouldn't have said nothing, that I don't really have anything to say because I have my kid. But what the fuck do you mean? I don't have nothing to say. He literally has been dodging responsibility. And the crazy thing about it is, y'all, I waited a whole year. A whole year. That's how fucking nice I am. And I'm tired of playing nice. But I waited a whole year after my child was born to put him on child support. A whole year. All I asked him to do was pay me $100. No lie. If I could find the note that I had him sign about just paying me $100 and I could take care of the rest, and all he had to worry about was providing diapers and wipes at the time that my son was born, before I even put him on child support, that's all he had to worry about, $100. And I was taking care of everything else. Not only that, he had visitation. I let him go over there. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm not going to get too deep because I found out a whole lot of things after all this transpired. If I feel comfortable talking about it, I will, but right now I'm not. But I just know that God was covering my baby when he was with him. And I thank God for that every day. So for people like, oh, Arlita, you shouldn't speak on this, or you have nothing really to say, you have your kid, you can kiss my ass.
Just when you thought the drama surrounding Resilient Stephanie and her family couldn't get any worse, another bombshell has dropped. But this time, it's not about their living situation or Stephanie's relentless quest for social media attention. It's about Drew. Yes, Andrew Jenkins, the man Stephanie has stood by through everything, has just been served, and this one's serious. The reason? Child support, or more specifically, the lack of it. It turns out that Drew has an older child he abandoned a decade ago, and the only reason he got caught is because of Stephanie's viral videos. That's right, her constant oversharing online ended up revealing their whereabouts, giving authorities exactly what they needed to track him down. The Jenkins' so-called resilience is about to take yet another hit, and this time, there's no escaping it. Court records reveal that Drew has been in contempt since February for failing to pay child support for his 12-year-old son, whom he shares with his ex, Ali. And here's the kicker. He abandoned his son when the child was only 2 years old. The last time he saw him was when he was 5, meaning he's gone a full 7 years without any contact, let alone financial support. Ali revealed that she had been searching for Drew for years with no success. And it wasn't until Stephanie's now infamous video about their family of 6 living in a 1-bedroom apartment went viral that she finally had a lead on his location. The irony is almost poetic. Stephanie's constant need for attention on social media became the very thing that led to Drew getting served. Ali wasted no time addressing the situation, openly admitting that if it weren't for Stephanie's nonstop posting, she might not have found Drew so quickly. But what really sealed the deal was his history with the courts. This isn't a case of a struggling father doing his best, but falling short. Drew has shown a pattern of evasion and neglect that finally caught up with him.
Well, hey, y'all. I know a few of you have been, waiting for an update from me on my side of things. And I'm not sure, maybe you guys do, but back in February, I had made a post, right, about saying I got a phone call, and what that phone call, which I couldn't really speak on at the time of what I got. But now that I got some good, I would say it's good on my behalf, I feel bad for you know who. And should I even say I feel bad? I don't feel bad. I don't, because I seen this coming. And like I said, if she hadn't exposed herself up here on these on these internet streets about how they were living and everything, I probably wouldn't have gotten the outcome this fast. So let's put it that way. So back in February, I got the phone call from our caseworker that's on my child support case. Back in February, it was the beginning of February, I got the call, and the call was just of holding him in contempt, which a few of you guys said that in my comments, like, oh, I hope it's like him being held accountable, blah blah blah. Mind you, there's just some things that I couldn't speak on because a lot of you here on this internet are doing a little bit too much.
Back in October, Drew had appeared for a court date after Ali had already exposed his situation. Instead of coming clean, he lied to the caseworker, claiming he was employed and financially capable. That meant he should have been paying child support, but instead, he skipped payments, dodged responsibilities, and by February, he was officially in contempt of court.
I absolutely knew what was coming out of this back in February. So the phone call was basically, she called me and she was like, I just want to know if you are okay with holding Andrew in contempt of his order, because y'all, back in October, when he went to that court date that I posted about back in October, he told our caseworker that he was working. He told her that he was working. And so when he wasn't paying nothing, that's when she called me and asked, can we hold him in contempt? And I told her, absolutely. Do what you have to do, because I never received consistent child support payments. I've had, like I told you guys back in October, I had 2 pretty big payments that came from the state, right? Which means they were taken out of his taxes whenever he filed back in 15 and 17. So those were like the 2 big things that I got back from him. Other than that, when child support was in play, I never really got consistent payments. And that's when I told you guys that one time where I specifically remember that I received 5 cents in my account, because I vividly remember that. And so anyways, so he's being held in contempt of our child support order.
At that point, the caseworker gave Ali a choice: push for enforcement or let the case stall. She didn't hesitate. She wanted Drew to finally face the consequences of his actions. Ali claims that Drew's track record with child support is absolutely disgraceful. The only payments she ever received were government garnishments in 2015 and 2017, when the state took the money directly from Drew's tax returns. Beyond that, he had contributed virtually nothing.
Anyways, so he's being held in contempt of our child support order, which finally now I can say, because since all this stuff about the eviction and them being in hotels and y'all doing weird stuff like doxing them and doing that, I don't condone the doxing. I don't, because there's kids involved. But it helped me out a little bit in the long run, because I was able to have him served. And I got the confirmation from the sheriff that he was served. Yeah. And his court date for next month is April 7th. And it comes with a pretty hefty thing. Like, this is my copy. Like, it's pretty thick. My copy, right? So I got this copy first. He got served, I want to say a couple of days ago, because I had texted the sheriff and asked if he had been contacted, and he said yes. And I want to say that was Monday, because today is Wednesday.
In one particularly insulting instance, he deposited a mere 5 cents into her account as child support, a blatant slap in the face. This wasn't a struggling father trying his best. This was a man who deliberately avoided his responsibilities while continuing to live his life with no regard for the son he left behind. And the only reason his charade ended was because his wife, desperate for internet clout, exposed their location for the world to see. Now, Drew has nowhere to run.
So, yeah. My baby is probably going to get what he deserves. Like I said, and it's crazy to me because people are saying like, oh, Arlita, you shouldn't even be speaking on this. You shouldn't even have nothing to say. You have your kid. I find that weird. I find that weird that people are trying to tell me that I shouldn't have said nothing, that I don't really have anything to say because I have my kid. But what the fuck do you mean I don't have nothing to say? He literally has been dodging responsibility. And the crazy thing about it is, y'all, I waited a whole year. A whole year. That's how fucking nice I am. And I'm tired of playing nice. But I waited a whole year after my child was born to put him on child support. A whole year. All I asked him to do was pay me $100. No lie. If I could find the note that I had him sign about just paying me $100 and I could take care of the rest, and all he had to worry about was providing diapers and wipes at the time that my son was born, before I even put him on child support, that's all he had to worry about, $100. And I was taking care of everything else. Not only that, he had visitation. I let him go over there. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm not going to get too deep because I found out a whole lot of things after all this transpired. If I feel comfortable talking about it, I will, but right now I'm not. But I just know that God was covering my baby when he was with him. And I thank God for that every day. So for people like, oh, Arlita, you shouldn't speak on this, or you have nothing really to say, you have your kid, you can kiss my ass.
Things got even messier when Ollie confirmed that Drew was officially served after his whereabouts were exposed online, something Stephanie unintentionally caused. While Ollie doesn't condone doxing, she acknowledged that in this particular case, it worked to her advantage. However, she made it clear that exposing someone's location, even unintentionally, is reckless, especially when children are involved. Even though she was fighting for her child's rights, she still expressed concern for Stephanie's kids, emphasizing that putting personal details online can have serious consequences. Ollie explained that for years, she had no leads on Drew's whereabouts, which made enforcing the court's rulings nearly impossible. This time, however, things aligned in her favor, and with Stephanie's videos revealing key details about their motel stay, it didn't take long for authorities to pinpoint his location. The moment she received confirmation from law enforcement that Drew had been served, she knew the long battle was finally reaching a turning point. And now, with a court date already set for April 7, Drew has no choice but to face the consequences of his years of neglect. The weight of his actions has finally caught up with him, and there is no more hiding behind excuses or disappearing acts. Some people have attempted to defend Drew, saying that since Ollie can afford to take care of their son, she should just move on. But let's be clear, nobody forced Drew to lie to the caseworker about being employed. That was his decision, and now he has to deal with the fallout. This isn't just about money. It's about responsibility, accountability, and the fact that Drew deliberately chose to ignore his child for over a decade. He had every opportunity to step up and be a father, but instead, he vanished. Now, he's being forced to reckon with the years he spent neglecting his duties, and the reality of legal consequences is finally staring him in the face. And then there's Stephanie, who played a major role in all of this. People have been talking for months about how she constantly exposes her location online, and whether she realized it or not, her compulsive need to document their every move has led to this moment. What was once just reckless oversharing has now turned into a real legal problem. Her obsession with going viral might actually land Drew in jail for failing to pay child support. Alida saw this coming from a mile away. Months ago, she warned the Jenkins about what was bound to happen, but Stephanie brushed it off, accusing her of chasing clout. Now, the very storm Alida predicted has arrived, and it's hitting harder than anyone expected. Turns out, eviction was just the beginning. What was coming next? A child support case that would finally force Drew to face the consequences of years of neglect. Alida wasn't just making empty threats. She knew exactly how these situations play out. Drew's financial irresponsibility was always going to catch up with him, and now the courts are making sure of it. And the best part, Stephanie, who once dismissed Alida's warnings as baseless attacks, has unknowingly played a major role in bringing this all to light. The irony is almost too perfect. Stephanie, so desperate to control the narrative and gain sympathy, ended up exposing the very information that led authorities straight to Drew. Her obsession with posting every detail of their lives online became the key to tracking him down. Every video, every update, every overshare. It all formed a perfect roadmap right to his doorstep. And this isn't just about Drew's child with Alida. He has another son, Deshaun, whose mother, Desiree, is still battling for custody. If Drew ends up behind bars, what happens to that child? This legal mess isn't just a single case. It's unraveling into something much bigger, with multiple lives affected by his choices. Alida, of course, isn't surprised. This is a man who abandoned his son at the age of 2 and never looked back. The financial neglect is bad enough, but the emotional damage, that's something money can't fix. Drew has a clear pattern. Once he walks away, he stays gone. So what makes Stephanie think she'll be any different? Right now, she's living in a cramped motel with 5 kids, clinging to the idea of resilience, while Drew spends his time glued to the PlayStation instead of looking for work. Bills keep piling up, child support remains unpaid, and yet, even with a court case looming over him, Drew refuses to take accountability. And Stephanie, she's standing by him, enabling him every step of the way. Maybe it's blind loyalty, or maybe she's just desperate to hold on to the illusion of a family. But if she ever walked away, she might actually be able to give her children the stability they deserve. Meanwhile, Drew's other children are left in the shadows. Essen, the son he hasn't seen in years, is still waiting for a father who never shows up. Their past government-assisted housing is gone. Their living situation is unpredictable. The cycle of instability continues, and Drew still isn't doing anything to change it. And as much as he tries to hide behind excuses, they're falling apart fast. He chose this path. He had options, but he ignored them. He had responsibilities, but he abandoned them. And now, with his April 7th court date set in stone, there's no more running. So, what happens next? How is Drew going to afford child support with no job? Will he try to use his so-called medical issues as an excuse? Will Stephanie keep standing by him, even as everything falls apart? Or is this finally the moment where the so-called resilient Jenkins completely crumble under the weight of their own actions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Will Drew actually step up, or is he heading straight for jail? And do you think Stephanie will finally realize she's been fighting for a man who won't even fight for his own children? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Jenkins family drama, because something tells me this saga is far from over. Stay tuned.